right now on News Channel 8 at 8. This cartoon in a Polk County newspaper is stirring up controversy. Tonight, the sheriff fires back.
Black Lives Matter and law enforcement officers are the ones that are shooting.
Actor George Takei speaking out against racism. On a tour through an internment camp, he said the same racism put him and his family behind barbed wire fences when he was a kid.
Do e-cigarettes actually help people to quit smoking? Alternatively, is it that those individuals continue to use both products over time?
One of the country's largest e-cig studies is being launched here in the Bay Area. What researchers hope to uncover. News Channel 8 at 8 begins now.
Good evening, I'm Jen Holloway.
I'm Rod Carter. Thanks so much for joining us. We're beginning tonight with the story that's all new at 8. The Lakeland Ledger published a controversial cartoon just yesterday that appears to be making fun of police. And then today, after backlash from readers, issued an apology.
Paul Mueller's on this story for us tonight. He joins us live now from the Lakeland Ledger. Paul, I know you reached out to the publisher there. What's he saying tonight?
Well, he refused an on-camera interview and said directing us to an editorial in today's paper in which they clarify their position on the cartoon, essentially apologizing. Now, a whole lot of people, though, aren't buying it. They are not happy. Some going so far as to say they will cancel their subscriptions. Now, I want you to go ahead and take a good look right now at the cartoon we're talking about. It shows a heavyset white police officer asking a pharmacist, quote, "Got anything for an itchy trigger finger?" Now, of course, this comes in the wake of the police officer-involved shootings of Alton Sterling in Louisiana and Philando Castile in Minnesota last week. Those two shootings within 48 hours of each other. And then, of course, those deadly Dallas shootings, 5 Dallas area police officers shot and killed. Now, Sheriff Grady Judd today in an exclusive interview, not too happy when he first saw the cartoon, but then when the paper said it was in bad taste, he said they did the right thing. Take a listen.
There's a few people in this country that's always on the edge, that hate law enforcement, and are looking for support to carry out their evil deeds. That only encourages it. The Ledger messed up, and they fessed up and fixed it.
All right, so there you have it. Sheriff Grady Judd is now happy, pleased that the paper went ahead and clarified their position. But still, some of the folks we talked to in Lakeland today, well, some are happy and some are not. It's really divided parts of the community. Take a listen.
They're going for a laugh. Laughter is the best medicine.
You think it's okay?
It's free speech.
Absolutely, it's not the right time. It's never funny to talk about cop shooting.
Now, here is just a small part of today's editorial quote. We acknowledge that the cartoon was in poor taste, insensitive, and a mistake. While the intent was to offer a perspective that we believe many people in America hold on this volatile topic, we could and should have made a better choice. With that said, we do not apologize for holding police officers accountable when we think they betray the public trust. Now, back live, I also asked the sheriff if they went ahead and put that in the paper today, their editorial, because they were caving into public pressure. He told me no. He said that upper management got involved and decided it was the wrong thing to do. Jen?
All right, Paul, now that apology for the cartoon was just a part of that editorial. Did you find anything else that stood out in the editorial?
Yeah, it was a large editorial, so there were other things, though, that the Lakeland Ledger wanted to talk about. In fact, there were many articles that they referenced throughout the years in which they have defended the Polk County Sheriff's Office and the Lakeland Police Department as well, acknowledging that it is a rough job, a tough job, one that is very risky, as well as acknowledging the fact that officers and deputies go out there each and every day and, for us, put their lives on the line.
All right, Paul Mueller live in Lakeland tonight. Paul, thanks for following up on that story. We're now going to turn to some breaking news. This is coming out of St. Petersburg. Just found out police are confirming 2 people are dead now following a shooting on MLK Boulevard North. Now, we don't have a lot of details exactly about what happened. We are gathering those right now. We're also sending a crew to that scene, and we'll update you just as soon as we know more. But if you like developments on this breaking news story and also breaking news alerts right to your phone, you can always download the free News Channel 8 app.
3 of the officers killed in that deadly ambush in Dallas are now laid to rest. Today, they were remembered for their courage and for their dedication. The community gathered to say goodbye at 3 separate services honoring each officer. Brent Thompson, Michael Smith, and Lauren Ahrens were killed at a protest against police violence last week. The services come a day after President Obama traveled to the Dallas area to attend a memorial service for all 5 of those slain officers. Today, President Obama met with those police officers. He met with mayors and civil rights activists in Washington in an effort to calm national unrest over high-profile police shootings.
Those officers were killed at a protest against police violence. Funerals for Alton Sterling and Philandro Castile will be held later on this week. Their deaths sparked protest worldwide. Castile will be buried tomorrow in St. Paul, and Alton Sterling's funeral is set for Friday in Baton Rouge.
His sobs were heard across the world as his mother called for justice in Alton Sterling's death. And now Sterling's 15-year-old son is joining his family's plea for peace. Cameron Sterling addressed the media today outside the Baton Rouge convenience store where his father was shot to death. Cameron hopes that his dad's death can unite people, not divide them.
I feel that everyone, yes, you can protest, but I want everyone to protest the right way. Protest in peace, not guns, not drugs, not alcohol, not violence. Everyone needs to protest in the right way with peace, no violence, none whatsoever.
The teen also thanked those who've supported his family through their difficult time.
And new tonight, a family in Tennessee is suing for $17 million after their 19-year-old son was shot to death by a Memphis officer. Officer Connor Schilling shot Darius Stewart last July after pulling him over for a busted taillight. A grand jury did not indict the officer despite the district attorney's recommendation that he be charged with manslaughter.
Actor George Takei is shining a spotlight on racism today. He toured a former internment camp in Wyoming. He said that the kind of racism that imprisoned 120,000 Japanese Americans during World War II is still present in America today. Takei actually lived in confinement camps himself in Arkansas and California when he was a child. Sadly, he believes not enough has changed.
Black lives matter. And law enforcement officers are the ones that are shooting because they're afraid of black men. Same sort of attitude placed us behind these barbed wire fences.
Takei recently started a Broadway show about the Heart Mountain camp called Allegiance. It explored the draft resistance movement.
Well, a Tinder date went terribly wrong when a man tried to rob his date. Police in New York arrested 26-year-old Kevin Clark after a neighbor called 911. They say they spotted him through a window, grabbing the woman's jewelry, cash, even electronics. Turns out this isn't the first time he's been arrested for theft on a Tinder date. It's also a good reminder for you, if you do date on Tinder, to always do research before letting a stranger come into your home. You can search arrest records for free on most county department websites.
A Florida Fish and Wildlife officer is dead tonight following a freak accident. Officer Greg Patterson was riding his bicycle along the Courtney Campbell Causeway when he hit a downed power line. That power line was live, and he died at the scene. News Channel 8's Chip Osowski explains it's a tremendous loss for this very tight-knit agency.
Losing a family member, losing a friend. Today, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission lost both in Officer Greg Patterson.
Yes, we're a very tight-knit group. We all spend a lot of time together during work and after work, and our families, most of our families know each other very well. And it's a loss that's going to hit home and for a lot of our officers.
When first responders arrived on scene shortly before 7 this morning, they had to wait for TICO crews to arrive to shut off the power. Patterson was already dead. TICO telling us he may not have seen the wire or realized it was live.
Sometimes it is obvious. Sometimes it sparks and moves and arcs and makes noise. But a lot of times it doesn't. It just looks like a wire. And it's so important for folks, if you see a line down, presume it is a power line and presume that it's live.
In this case, the down line only supplied power to street lights, so nearby businesses and residences were not reporting any outage. Because of that, TICO didn't immediately know a line was down.
We did have a report that the street lights were out on the Courtney Campbell. Traffic lights were working, street lights were out. We did not get a report of the line being down until much later.
Major Roger Young tells us Patterson leaves behind 2 daughters, and he believes died doing what he loved.
We're just all taken back by the loss, and it's just a tragedy that's we're all kind of in shock right now.
I'm Chip Osowski, News Channel 8.
Julie's here now with more on our weather. We've seen storms come through today, but they don't seem as bad today as they did yesterday.
Thank goodness.
Yes, thank goodness, because what a light show the past 2 nights. Now, there's still lightning around this evening, so let's not say there wasn't, but it wasn't as severe as we saw yesterday.
Yeah, it was pretty rough last night.
That is good news. And you can see on the radar, still tracking some showers and storms around, but these are pushing out into the Gulf and really dissipating very quickly this evening. You can still see some heavy rain, a lot of lightning around the Brooksville area, Spring Hill. Also, as you head south towards Newport Richey, we'll still see some rain around there and over towards Keystone. The Lutz area still tracking some showers. Inland, the lightning's pretty much gone now. We have some lingering light rain, steady moderate rain coming down. You can see some heavier showers moving off the Sarasota County coastline as well. So the rain will wrap up, I'd say, within the next hour or two. Heading into the overnight hours, temperatures will drop back into the upper 70s. And then our rain chances tomorrow back up to around 40%. Kind of classic summertime day. That's what today really was. You know, hot in the afternoon, the rain comes, cools us off in the evening, just like we like to see.
78, that sounds so nice.
You'd think we'd be used to that by now, though, right?
Yeah,
All right.
it's been different.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Coming up next on News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38. Moffitt Cancer Center is recruiting thousands of participants for an e-cigarette study. Learn how you can help researchers learn more about this huge new trend. You're watching Tampa Bay's most convenient primetime newscast. This is News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38.
Ask any former smoker and they'll tell you kicking the habit can be very, very tough. The desire to stop smoking has a lot of people turning now to e-cigarettes to try to help soothe those cravings.
Vaping, it's a big thing, but little is known about the long-term impact that vaping can have to help someone stay off tobacco. Well, News Channel 8's Mary McGuire found out that a nationwide study is being conducted right here in Tampa Bay, and this study could answer an awful lot of questions.
This study was just launched on Monday and will look at 2,500 participants over the next 2 years to try and determine the long-term impact vaping could have on cigarette smokers.
Let's see, I'm 63, been smoking since I was 19. You do the math.
Folks will try just about anything to finally kick traditional cigarettes in the butt, like Bill Henry, who has been smoking for most of his life.
Hard is not the word. Virtually impossible, I would say. I've tried to quit, as I think most smokers have.
Many people turn to e-cigs thinking they are a healthier choice. But could they really help people stop sparking up? That's exactly what Moffitt researchers want to find out.
We've learned from individuals who have used multiple substances, including heroin, that nicotine is often cited as the most difficult to give up.
This study is not about the safety of e-cigs.
While we don't know whether they are safe, what we can say is that it's very unlikely that they're as harmful as regular tobacco cigarettes because you're not being exposed to the tars and the cancer-causing chemicals.
It is targeted at people using both traditional and vape cigarettes to see how their use changes over time.
Do e-cigarettes actually help people to quit smoking? Alternatively, is it that those individuals continue to use both products over time?
Vaping skyrocketed in popularity so fast, medical research has yet to catch up. With this new study, Moffitt hopes to answer some questions, leading people on the path of wellness. Study participants will have to take a survey once every 3 months. Reporting in Tampa, I'm Mary McGuire, News Channel 8.
I think some of those folks are getting compensated for that study.
Yeah,
Nicely
I'm sure
done.
they are.
Hopefully we'll get lots of answers.
Yes, I know, because it's, it's such a new thing and so many people you see walking around vaping.
Yeah.
So nice to have some real answers there.
So we need a real answer about the rain, too.
The rain? Well,
what can
the
we
rain
expect tonight?
Is thankfully things are winding down.
Yeah.
So a lot of us did see some rain, but not quite as intense as last night, which we can be thankful about. What was nearly as intense as yesterday was the heat. Made it up to 92 today in Tampa, shy of the record 96 set back in 1961. So thankfully, wasn't that bad outside for us. And overall, for the rest of this evening, again, those scattered storms pushing out into the Gulf right now. So within the next hour or two, I think all of the showers and storms will be over with. Temperatures, well, they're still in the mid-80s for us if you haven't seen that much rain at your house. Now, waking up tomorrow morning, we're looking at temperatures in the upper 70s. We were actually at 76 this morning in Tampa when you walked out the door, so it felt fairly comfortable compared to those 80s in the morning we were dealing with. By the afternoon hours, we'll top out in the low 90s, bringing back in that 40% chance of storms. So showers and storms now pushing off towards the coast. Only one cluster of pretty strong storms still left on the radar. These are moving out of Brooksville towards Spring Hill. If you're in Pine Island, Hernando Beach, Bayonet Point, still dealing with some heavy rain. Once these clear out, we'll just have some light lingering showers still on the radar for the Tampa Bay area. Temperatures, you can see now mid-70s. For a lot of areas. It's 75 in Fishhawk, 77 in Plant City, 74 in Brooksville, 88 in Crystal River. Again, we're seeing those temperatures drop just because we actually did see some good soaking rains. Now, for the rest of this evening, the storms will continue to push west out into the Gulf, winding down very quickly. No rain tomorrow morning. By the afternoon hours, our showers and storms start up and then push back towards the coast again. So fairly similar to what we saw today. The rain limited to the late afternoon and evening hours. 30% rain chance, so a little bit less numerous for Friday and Saturday, with highs staying in the low 90s.
Coming up next on News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38.
Oh, gotta catch 'em all! Gotta catch 'em all! Gotta catch 'em all!
Pokemon Go is unstoppable. How businesses are now cashing in on the popular game.
How bad is this? Be honest. Is this Windows Vista bad? It's not iPhone 4 bad, is it? Don't tell me this is Zune bad.
I'm sorry, Gavin. It's Apple Maps bad.
Silicon Valley's getting some competition. The new reality TV show being created by Apple. We'll have that and more coming up on News Channel 8 at 8, right here on Great 38.
All right, step aside Candy Crush saga and look out Snapchat. Pokemon Go. You've heard about it. It's now the newest and biggest U.S. mobile game ever created. The app has attracted 21 million daily active users. And since it came out just 1 week ago, the value of Nintendo shares, up $12 billion. Even small businesses and restaurants are also cashing in. As it turns out, users, including businesses, can set up something called lure modules that will attract players to find Pokemon characters inside their establishments. And the National Park Service is also welcoming players with open arms. Today, the director of the agency released a video inviting Pokemon enthusiasts to come to a park and play in the great outdoors.
We'd like to welcome all you trainers to your national parks, where you might find more than just a new virtual companion. It's exciting to explore new places, and the National Park Service has some great ones in store for you.
Park rangers at Washington, D.C.'s national malls and memorial parks, meanwhile, are offering up to help these hunters catch the virtual Pokemons. It's all an effort to turn the experience into an educational one and at the same time make sure that people do not hurt themselves or damage any of the monuments. And Apple's producing a new reality TV show. The tech giant's looking for app developers to face off in a competition. They'll be mentored and funded by Silicon Valley experts. The winner's work will be featured in Apple's App Store, and casting for what's being called Planet of the Apps is now underway. iOS developers can submit an online application through August 26, and the applicants are being asked to submit screenshots of their apps, which can be designed for any Apple product. The show is expected to start filming later this year.
All right, if you drive a Fiat Chrysler vehicle, you can earn some extra cash. The automaker is going to pay you to find security bugs in its Jeeps, Ram trucks, and other models as well. It's offering up to $150 to $1,500 between those two, depending on the security flaws that you uncover. Fiat Chrysler joins a list of companies offering hackers the chance to buy and to cash in on these bugs that they find in their products. So good luck. All right, Amazon's second annual Prime Day was the biggest day ever for the online retailer. The e-commerce giant says customer orders surpassed 2015 by more than 50% in the U.S. That's huge. The top seller of the day was the Fire TV stick, which was on sale for $25.
I wanted that big beanbag they had. That looked fun. Hey, do you know how many calories you drink from beer? Well, soon you may know whether you want to or not. Major companies, including Anheuser-Busch, agreed to include nutrition labels on products. Just like food labels, will include calories, carbs, protein, and fat. The group is pushing its members to include the new information on all beer labels by the year 2020.
Maybe you don't want to know. Kobe Bryant and his wife Vanessa are expecting their third child together, another girl. The retired NBA star made that announcement Tuesday on Instagram. He posted a picture of a baby mamba onesie and a glittery red bow and an adorable pair of Nike Kobe shoes. Bryant's nickname, by the way, is Black Mamba.
Actress Jennifer Aniston says she has had it with tabloid fixation on her personal life, specifically whether or not she's pregnant. Aniston wrote a scathing essay for the Huffington Post, and she declared that she's not pregnant and she's sick of body shaming that occurs under the guise of journalism. Aniston also hit back against the idea that women are somehow incomplete unless they are married with children.
Coming up next on News Channel 8 at 8 on Great 38.
Coming up, some amazing drone video as they're talking about the next generation of flight and the dangers of it.
We'll have that and more coming up. You're watching Tampa Bay's most convenient primetime newscast.